What's going on, guys? It's Marcus and Steve here at StreetText.
Hello, hello, hello.
We would call it StreetText Daily.
The StreetText Daily. This is, I don't know how many episodes now, maybe like the 5th episode or 4th episode or 6th episode, one of the two.
Most people don't know about it because we haven't really been good at leveraging the social media aspect of this, but we're learning. So if you have some questions you'd like us to answer or things like us to talk about, we've had some fun experiences, really understanding Facebook, their algorithm. We have a really unique, I think, aspect into how to capture leads from Facebook, the lead management systems, training, coaching around we've seen agents who've closed hundreds of deals with us. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I hope you like this spot. Normally we sing in the other room. So let us know which one you like more, the blue background or this background. This is Marcus' office.
I don't think they really care.
So the title of today is How to Make It the Fastest Way to $1 Million. And the reason we titled that is it truly, what we're going to be covering in this session today is, we believe, especially for real estate agents, the fastest way to $1 million in commissions. And the first thing that I want to let you know is actually kind of a couple things. One is we're launching a brand new course specifically designed to walk you through step by step of a lot of what our successful agents do, how they convert so many leads. Like we said, we have agents who have converted over 100 deals on social media, on leveraging essentially Facebook and Instagram, an evergreen source of lead generation. But one of the fundamentals that we discovered, why some are so successful and others struggle when the leads are the same, is how you approach the leads.
100%.
And it's all, a lot of it is teachable, and that's why we put in the course together, the things that you can really go through. But a large part of it is mindset. And it's also, you wouldn't think it out of the gate. And the reason we put the course together is we wanted to break down some of the world-class best resources that we found on how to get the right mindset. And, for example, like Tony Robbins himself always says, whether you like him or not, he really is a master at understanding people.
Psychology.
80% of if you set yourself a goal and you want to achieve it, 80% of that is psychology and 20% of that is skill achieving it. Now, the skills can always get better and you can always improve. And the guy with the best skills, it is hand up. But like that other quote, hard work will beat talent all day long. And the reason being is that mental attitude is just so critical. So we put this course together because we really want to walk you through step by step the process of when Marcus was interviewing all of our best clients. He'd really go deep into their psychology, their process, why are they so successful with this program? And he would dive in and he would pull out all these nuggets and these different pieces. And then what we did is we took all of that and put into this together as a course for you. So if you want the course and you want to get early access to it, comment below in this video and we'll make sure that you're first in. You'll get first into getting access to this course. So, and then the second component, I just wanted to ramble off since we're just diving into it, is that when we follow a lot of Facebook groups and we'll see people talking about lead generation and they struggle. It doesn't matter who it is. If somebody posts something, I'll pick a big name now like Zillow and says, does Zillow work? You're going to have half the people commenting on it saying, oh, it's great. It's the best thing for my business ever. And another half are going to say it's a scam, it's a waste of time, it's a joke. And it's really interesting when you see that, because it doesn't matter who the lead gen provider is, you see that consistently. So why is it that some have so much success and why is it that some don't? And I'll see a lot of people commenting the two, especially if they're somewhat resentful towards it. They'll say, I just focus on repeats and referrals. Instead of like lead gen, lead gen's a joke. I just focus on repeats and referrals. And I like that comment to a certain degree because obviously repeats and referrals are critical. But the fastest way to more repeats and referrals, especially if you're a world-class brand and you deliver world-class value to your clients, is by generating new business. You generate new business, you turn those into fantastic clients, which then you turn into repeats and referrals. And all of our big clients have great referral business, and they accelerate that with a strong lead gen campaign. The problem, of course, is how to convert those leads, right?
Yeah, a lot of this comes down to proper psychology and understanding, and I think the mentality around where are you generating leads from, first of all, because if you look at the difference between Google, Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, and those type of search engine leads versus like a social media lead, Instagram, it's the cycle. It's the nurturing time with these people. It's the ability for you to ask the right questions and be an expert asking questions. It's the ability for you to build trust and rapport. It is the understanding, especially on the seller lead side, it's a nurturing process, that these leads are not always going to reply to you right away. So it's also really dialing in your process, spending time on the business, being disciplined with the time that you spend on the business, and consistent with the time you spend on your business. And the best agents that I've seen in lead conversion in that space have excellent psychology and mentality. They are people who are genuinely interested in relationships and serving and helping. And they have a phenomenal process, and they're dedicated to that process, and they're always looking to improve that process. And so, I mean, that right there is the recipe for an evergreen, I believe, business model that will allow you to get hundreds of deals, if not build teams and do things like that, because you can only replicate yourself so many times over. So process becomes extremely important to maximize time management. And nowadays, I find you can leverage technology that makes it seem like you're still there, and it's very personal. A lot of what I'm seeing nowadays is leveraging video properly. And it allows you to be face-to-face at all times and to continually build your brand and have excellent message and really communicate value and position yourself as an expert. And so, like, we have so many examples of that, and I think we'll touch on that in this course. And we have, if you really want to dive in deep, we already have courses we've created. One is specifically that's done really well with Donna Swansea. But I find the funny thing is with that is like, you have all these people that start the course, maybe have good intentions, but don't follow through, and maybe are not just dedicated like Donna is. I think what I've seen, Donna is so successful. She spends, and she says this every day, 2 to 3 hours on the business. And that's remarkable. She schedules all her appointments to afternoon. And, if you don't have that type of discipline, it's you look at world-class athletes, like, they're spending every day in the gym or in the field, and that's why they're the best at their sport. Like, it's not something you can't do lead generation lightly. And if you want to do it well, you can't do it lightly.
But the thing I struggle with that sometimes, and I know probably some of the audience will as well, is that there's a lot of programs out there where a lot of people will preach something like you need to work harder, or you need to put in the time, you need to put in the discipline, because that's what athletes do. And I think what they forget to mention is why. Like, so for instance, if, and I think about being a child, if your parents tell you something like, don't do this, or you need to do this, and you just hear that, you're kind of like, okay, well, I need to put more time in for lead gen, but whatever. But when your parents told you why you shouldn't do something, and the why became, like you heard it and then you understood it, then all of a sudden your behavior can match based on the why.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things that I believe we've done a good job in this particular course too, is really walking you through the process of understanding why the certain things work, so that you yourself can adopt that and then decide if that's something you want to do. Because I think everybody knows you should work harder. Everybody knows you need to put in more time, and everybody knows, but what does it take to reach that committed state? What's required to get to the level where you want to see that change? And I think that the reason that we said at the beginning too, it's 80% psychology, is it's not willpower.
No.
This is actually what I want to say really clear in this video early on, is that if you think it's willpower that's going to get you there, you're going to fail.
100%.
And it's the same as, like, I mean, even Gary Keller on the One Thing says that too. Like, if this is a game of willpower, you're not going to make it. But if you understand why somebody does something, you can adopt that yourself, so that you create this internal motivator. You just need enough willpower to get that in motion. And once that is in motion, and you create a habit around it, and you see success around it, and you build it into your life, suddenly you can kind of keep building from that. And I think that that's where a lot of people have been led down wrong with lead gen, is they say, go generate some leads, and just make sure that you follow up. And you kind of like all these things you're told, but all of that should happen well after you've established why you're doing it, what are the goals you have in place, why does it matter to you that you should even do this follow-up, why does the particular follow-up program that you're approaching, why are you thinking about it? Like, do you feel confident in it for your leads, and we can dive into the 5 reasons that people buy and sell homes in just a moment if you want, like the psychology of it. But I feel like our best clients, they personalize a lot of that because they really thought about what it was that were like the position that their sellers and buyers were at, and they knew exactly why they were trying to do it. And it's that component when that 80% of the psychology was locked in and they felt so confident, the actual 20% of the discipline becomes a lot easier.
Yeah, the Pareto principle, right? The big why fuels you. I mean, you have to have your why. It's no different than anything that you pursue consistently every day. If your why is not big enough, you're not going to be disciplined in waking up at a certain time. You're not going to be disciplined to work on the business and time block for that. If your why is not what fuels you, you're not going to look at lead generation as anything but, sometime you may spend on it occasionally, but you won't be disciplined on the process. So your big why is the beginning. It's like, what do you want to accomplish over the course of your life? Why did you choose real estate? What is the lifestyle that you want to have? Is it so, like Nicole that I talked to, so you can take a month off every year and travel with your family? Is it so you can grow a big team of 100 in Keller Williams? Is it so you can have investment properties? And maybe it's to leave a legacy. Maybe it's because you really just love it. All you want to do is serve people. But the why is what fuels you, and you have to find that out, because if you don't find out the why, then it'll just become transaction focused. And I think dollars can only take you so far, truly.
Yeah, and there's so much. We used to just sometimes show up to work and you had something inside of you, but you're just going to do your job, right? And that's okay, but when things get hard, there's a lot of excuses that can come up. But when we started showing up to work because we were motivated by why we were trying to do something, that changes. And suddenly you can bust through walls that you just have the energy to do so. And it really does start there. There's so many good resources on it. We obviously cover a lot of that on the course too. And I think it's a bit of it's an ongoing thing. And, for some of you that might seem like, it's almost, it's almost like magical to like focus on your why instead of just going out there and doing all the hard work. But, even like sports athletes like Michael Gervais that we were following, he works with the Seattle Seahawks. And when these guys really dive into the psychology of players and of high performers in any category, these guys have incredible internal motivation based on something that they're trying to achieve. And it's so strong. And he won't even work with people unless they know why they want it. Because once he knows why they want it, he can work beside them, and he knows he can get through any wall with them, because the human spirit is incredibly powerful. But if they don't want it, he won't work with them, because that's the incredible component. Like if if you want somebody else to get you there, it's going to be pretty challenging. But as soon as you can something clicks inside internally and you want something, the human spirit is absolutely incredible. And it doesn't matter, who it is, like this. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. Well said. It starts with the big why, and you take that big why, and then once you're able to know the big why, then you can start taking that back and say, okay, how do I break that down to 5-year, 3-year, 1 year, essentially quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily, right? And a lot of people probably have a hard time figuring out what that looks like. What's the one thing they can do, such as if they do it, everything else is easier. And that's the hard part, sometimes figuring out what's that one thing you can do on a daily basis. But the big why drives you, and we do some great goal setting in this free course that we offer. And we've had, I think, the unique opportunity to work through, we worked through the One Thing book. We worked through Michael Hyatt's The Best Year Ever. We worked through Darren Hardy, Insane Productivity course. Like, we've had some great mentors in the process of finding out how to goal set properly. And we can bring that to you. And I think that's one of the things, once you start and you know your why, and then you're able to break that down and set this goal for what you want to accomplish over the next year, it's rallying around a community of like-minded people. And that's what we like to say we have here at StreetText. And we mastermind, we do weekly sessions where we all talk about what our goals are, how we're helping each other accomplish them, what is our process in doing that. And I think that's the fun part working here at StreetText, is we have a bunch of people on the same page, really wanting to excel. They have big whys, and they're looking to help each other. And that's the key. And growth, personal mastery is all about being hungry for personal development on yourself, personal development on your business, and just constantly just being a student of life. Like there's so much to learn. The processes can always get better. There's so much great technology, ways of integrations, ways of systemizing things, of leveraging yourself. I mean, it is limitless with what you can do. I think in this day and age that we live in, more now than ever. So think big, 10x your thinking. That's what I like to say. Like we, sometimes we limit ourselves and what we think we can accomplish. But if you 10x that, I like what Jim Rohn says, and like it's like if you want to be make a goal to be a millionaire because of what it will make you to become that millionaire.
That's right.
Right.
It's not actually about the money per se. It's who, like how much you have to change to get to that stage. That's actually one of the reasons that I never buy a lotto ticket ever. And the reason being is that, sometimes you think like, oh, if I just had the million, I'd be a millionaire. It's completely the opposite. When by doing the work required to get there, that's what makes you a millionaire. And then you always a millionaire, right? You have that millionaire mindset versus you just came into it and now you don't really know how to manage it and it just disappears and it's all gone. You don't even really know what happened because you never were there. You somehow thought the money was the difference between you and, like that. You feel like you're not there because of the money, but you're not there because of the habits in your life, the activities, the way you approach money. And so the fastest way for $1 million right now for any business at any time is lead generation, right? And it's the fastest way when you've got a great product, asking for referrals, asking for repeat business. But lead generation itself is when people spend money. So that's the spending part of that component. And you have to spend the money to make the money back. But I think that a lot of people approach it, with just the lead generation component. If I just had more leads, it's kind of the same thing. If I just had more money, I'd be better. If I just had more leads, my business would be different. And what they miss is that what does it take to convert leads? What does it take to make the money, right? And that's, I think, why we're so excited about this particular course that we're releasing and why we're so excited about interviewing all these different agents is that when you understand how they do it, you understand why they do it, and then you develop that for yourself, and then you approach lead generation, things get pretty exciting pretty fast and you can literally reach any goal. And if you have goals of seeing an additional $1 million with commissions come through your business through lead generation, it becomes suddenly so possible and so achievable. And, the question with somebody like this is how you know that you're not approaching it right. If you ask these two questions right out of the gate, how much does it cost?
Yeah.
Or what's your conversion rate, like to the company you're dealing with?
Yeah.
That's how you know.
Rate.
Yeah, that's how you know you don't have the right mindset and you don't have the right training. And don't feel bad about that because that's really what we've been told in large part to expect from lead generation. That somehow the lead, if you can make it so easy that the lead just wants to convert. When instead, if you understand how to build your database and you understand that the power when your database is ginormous, it doesn't matter what your market does. Your market can go up, it can go down, because you provide value and you have this enormous database, which is like your well, which you can pull from over and over and over again, and you have influence in your marketplace. You can set any goal, you can ride through any market, and you can see success because you're not at the mercy now of waiting for a company to send you this high quality lead, and that's the only lead you can convert. You build a database of clients that some are early in the funnel, some are middle in the funnel, some are ready to do business with you, but all of them now like you, know you, and trust you, and will send you business. And you're just on fire.
That's the how. Everybody wants to know the how. How do you get your database? Because we can generate leads for people all day long, but if it's the ones that know how to create a database where they can build influence, a database where they can build that know, like, and trust, and they do that well, and they're consistently top of mind, they're consistently nurturing them with great information, they're getting in front of them, and they're able to measure that, the measurability of that, to be able to track metrics. I think all of those are huge because you have to see if the material you're using is effective. So that's why we believe so heavily in process. What's the quote? 90% process, 10% magic. Process will hammer that forever. And I truly believe if you really get that ingrained in your mind, come and try lead generation when you're ready to work both on psychology and process, because that will be the solution to the $1 million mindset. That'll be the solution to the $1 million they actually want to have. And we're ready to share with you what we've learned over the last 7 years doing this.
So if you want early access to that course, comment below and we'll get you in. It's a great course. It'll help really walk you through all the things that, like Marcus has said, that we've learned over the last 7 years, especially working with our best clients. So if you want early access, comment below and we'll get you in. And yeah, I hope you found this useful. I hope you found this valuable. We're pretty excited about the course. We're pretty excited about your success. That's really why we do this. We're excited for you to reach goals that you otherwise didn't think were possible. And I think one of the things that, I've done so many calls with different real estate agents over the years. And one of the first things that we always try to figure out with an agent is, what are your goals? Where do you want to see yourself in a year?
Yeah.
And again, a lot of agents don't have that figured out, or they just say, well, we'll see how the year ends. And I fully understand that. But when you look at the top, because maybe there's no training on it, but when you look at the top 10% of performers across North America or in the world, they have their goals written down. They know why they're trying to achieve it. And it's not a hard process. It's actually quite a simple process. And you just maybe need somebody to walk you through it, and you need to connect with it. And we cover all of that in this course. And so we're so excited for you to maybe solidify some of the things that are in your mind right now that are bouncing around. But if you can actually harness all of that energy, put it in front of you and give it so it's a guiding light as you move forward in your business, whether you want to do lead generation or not. I think there's some really good value in here. And yeah, we highly recommend you take advantage of it. So if you want the course, comment below.
Comment below. And if you have anything you'd like to, we're doing this every day, Monday through Friday. It's right around that 8:15-ish a.m. That would be 11:15 Eastern time for you guys on the East Coast. Anything you'd like us to talk about, any comment below. We'd love to carry this on with topics from you guys. So have an awesome day.
Yeah.
Figure out what that one thing you need to accomplish is today, and we will talk soon.